As a little kid, it was to be a veterinarian, and I only remember that because I just found some stuff that my mom had, and I had veterinarian spelled wrong a whole bunch of times on all of my things as a kid. But then, like, once I got in high school, I really thought I was going to be a high school band director. Currently, I'm the warden at Whitworth Women's Facility, and a normal day is we always have our morning meeting with the staff, and then by 9 on good days and 9:15 on slower days, we go on our morning inspection, and that usually takes us to lunch, and then after lunch is generally fielding some sort of issue, whether it's offender issues or staff issues. I try to stay out of my office though, and out in the institution where I'm available to my offenders and my staff. I think the most rewarding is being able to help somebody. And yes, they may come back to prison, but in that moment, whether I've let them make a call to their mom because they heard their grandma was sick, or I let them walk in the GED graduation because they left Pulaski before they had a graduation, but in that moment, being able to help them with whatever their issue is. And then long term, it's when you don't see people returning and coming back. I just got back from the Women Working in Corrections and Juvenile Justice Conference and the Association of Women Executives in Corrections Conference, and they both had several breakouts on the importance of maintaining work-life balance. But it's pencil it into your calendar, and I'm like, I don't know what kind of institution you work at, but my institution, it doesn't matter what you have penciled into your calendar, it's just never all going to get done. So that's something I'm working on to do better, but right now there is none. I would say don't forget who you are, because a lot of times it's like, oh, well, what'd you do to get this job? Like, I worked hard. Like, I know who I am. I know what I've done to get here. I've done the hard work. I've, sat on the interview boards and had the hard questions asked and be able to answer and been chosen to do these jobs. So I think just remember what you have done to get where you are. When I interviewed for my probation officer job, the chief, when he was a coordinating chief because he supervised at multiple offices, he's like, well, what do you kind of see yourself doing? I was like, well, you can't have your job forever, so I've always wanted to do more. And so when in probation, my goal was to be the coordinating chief in Cobb County. They eventually got rid of that role, which is why I did not get it. But then when I came to facilities, that was on my list of goals, is to be a warden. I think knowing that I'll have learned something once you get to the other side of it. Whether it's don't do that way anymore, that was not the right way to handle that, or whether it's, oh, that worked out really well, let me keep this in mind. But just keeping in perspective, yes, this is really not comfortable or hard or whatever, but when I get through it, what's it going to be? My dad was on felony probation when I was born, and so I even remember as a kid him not being able to find a job, and then I didn't really understand it, but he was always really open about it. But him seeing that, yeah, he struggled, which kind of made us struggle when I was a kid. That I put myself through college. Now I have a job. When they come visit, I pay for their gas. I'm able to buy them meals and those sorts of things. So I think it's continuing to make my parents proud, despite that, it wasn't always the easiest growing up. I would say just keep your head up. I don't think that I had a whole lot of issues or resistance getting positions because I was a female. I know that's not everybody's case, but I always think that I worked hard enough that they didn't have a choice. Like it was, oh, well, Jodi clearly is the best option, But if anything, just keep your head up and, push through. And sometimes we do have to work harder to show that we're worth it, but it's definitely worth the hard work. and that you can make the changes that you want to see. Implementation of all the education initiatives that we've done, the push on GEDs, all of the, I want to say the technology, that's not what I was trying to say, but the OJT programs, but technology also with the tablets, the gold devices, and the kiosks and all of that, and then the increase of vocational and vocational opportunities that we've offered to the offenders. Like, it's stuff that they can use when they get out. Most of them are going to go home, so I think it's great that we give them an opportunity to do something and make something of themselves. I think that somebody has integrity, because then you know that they'll have your back even when nobody is there to have your back except for them. Good communication, whether it's they can verbally or written communicate well, or that they do a good job at passing information down. And especially at the ward level, that can be hard because I've got to send it through the deputy, through the captain, through the supervisors to the shift, So I try to go to supervisors' meetings and shift briefings so that I can communicate directly with the staff. So I think great communication is really important. And somebody that is loyal, whether it's to the organization or their people, and both, so that you know that there's always somebody in your corner. I would say that probably my closest mentor type relationship is with Miss Yearwood. I think she was here this morning because we work together at Arendelle and we're friends, but I think also I can say, oh yeah, you shouldn't have handled that way. That was really dumb, why'd you do that? Or I can say, hey, tell me about how that went and what'd you think and what could we have done different? So I think that our friendship is where I can be honest with her about those sorts of things, and I know she wants to go on and do more things. But I also try to be an example for my female supervisors, especially because even though we're a female institution, we still have more male supervisors than females, and just encourage them because they do get discouraged because there are more guys, and it's not because they're not capable, it's just more guys have put in for the position, so statistically they get chosen, and to just encourage them along the way and provide them with little leadership nuggets that I can when I can.